There's no motion necessary for that. We're moving on to public participation of non-agenda items and consent agenda items. And up first is Joanne Golden, followed by Richard Stowe. Good evening.
Good evening, how are you all? Joanne Golden, 502 North Palmway. Just a couple of things and a couple of questions. I'm concerned about the lobbying for the baseball stadium and not knowing the positive financial benefits and impact. I think that it is not appropriate for the staff and government officials to be lobbying. I'm not sure how that fits into the ethics, but I just think that lobbying for something that's going to be maybe happening in the Park of Commerce or in the John Prince Park that is not our land would not be a great thing to do, just the way it looks, and it doesn't look great. Perhaps we could offer them the Park of Commerce since we don't own that land either. And we do not own the county land. And I just find it difficult that we are lobbying for the baseball stadium. The other thing is there's a hurricane preparedness workshop that's going to be taking place. And I think Kevin Anderson has been doing it for years. And I think it would be really appropriate if the city took more of a hands-on approach. And one of the problems is that people don't know about it. We have a lot of vacation home owner people in the city. We have a lot of renters in the city, and we have a lot of new people who have moved in since 2004, since the last hurricane. So we might want to really put this out for folks because people don't really know what might happen during a hurricane if they haven't been here before. And the other thing is I would like to see more emphasis on the effects of global warming and sea level rising when we're talking about projects that we have on the board to do for our streets. If we don't consider sea level rising, and a plan that was done in 2008 might not be effective today. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Richard Stowe, followed by Ted Johnson.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Commissioners and City residents. My name is Richard Stowe. I live at 414 North Federal Highway. I just want to bring to the attention a story in the Broward Palm Beach New Times. It was an Earth Day article here on April 22nd. It's entitled 19 Best Environmentalists in South Florida. And number 19 was Dr. Christopher McCoy, Commissioner McCoy. A principal author of Landscapes and Hydrology of the Pre-Drainage Everglades, which is about eco-hydrology in the Everglades. I thought it brought to mind reading that homage to his environmental efforts. A recent call he got from Elizabeth Colbert, a professor at Williams College, author of Field Notes from a Catastrophe, and more recently the 2015 Pulitzer Prize book called The Sixth Extinction, an Unnatural History. Ms. Colbert, she's also, by the way, an environmental staff writer for the New Yorker, writing on climate issues. She contacted Commissioner McFoy to give her a tour of the Everglades recently. So I want to congratulate Commissioner McFoy and his recent appearance in the Broward Palm Beach New Times. Thank you.
Thank you. Ted Johnson, followed by Miriam Bleezy.
Commissioners, Mr. Mayor, I have a picture there of a house in our neighborhood. A couple from, and this is kind of a precursor to the workshops that you're going to have on historic preservation. But this couple over a year ago, purchased a home in our neighborhood. And they have poured a lot of money and a lot of love into this house and made it a showcase. And we're very happy that someone has put that forward, that effort. And the historic staff has determined that that stucco on that house, and of course I can't show you texture because it's one-dimensional, but have determined that the texture on that house, their new stucco job, is too rough, and they're going to have to take it off. And I think this is draconian. If you can imagine the impact, financial and otherwise, of doing that. And they were told by staff not to bother going to the historic board because the historic board would simply agree with this ruling. And so they did it. And this has been 6 months of angst, very severe angst. And finally we met them and talked to them and said, hey, the historic board is the only recourse to decisions of staff. And so they now are scheduled for June 8th hearing before the historic board. But I think I've been proud of Lake Worth, I'm proud to live in Lake Worth most of the time. But I'm ashamed of this. This is, we don't treat people like this that choose to live and invest in our town. They're a real asset to our neighborhood, and I don't think there's any excuse for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Miriam Bleezy, followed by Katie McGivern.
Good evening, Marianne Pelosi, 1529 South Palm Way. I first want to thank Jack Borsch and his staff for new lights, making South Palm Park less attractive to criminals. Last week alone, I actually made a call on 3 people that I could see engaging in criminal activity. And I could actually identify to the dispatcher what they looked like, the color of their clothing, and the incident that took place. Before the new lights, I could not give a description at all to the sheriff. Mr. Borch is always available to take my calls, and if there is a problem, fix within actually 24 hours. I'm excited to see that the city has already completed 550 lights, 13%, or equivalent to 8 quadrants. How exciting that FDOT approved Kelvin, or the symbol K, the unit of measurement that will specifically give the hue of the light source that they have approved. In retrospect, it's a standard incandescent. It's low heat with lower lights, which will be a warm color that should be pleasing to hopefully all of us. I'm thrilled to see that we got approval of the money to benefit the people of our beautiful city. All of us are aware of the crime problem, and I believe this will keep everyone safe. To me, it doesn't matter if you like me or don't. I personally don't want to see anybody get hurt. I lived in South Dakota, where I could see the gorgeous stars and moon, so I totally get the dark skies. However, having a baby, the dark skies made me scared, even though the crime is extremely low. I couldn't see anything. I drive each night in my association to make sure there are no dark places. I understand the frustration with people that aren't used to the new lighting. However, I'm a firm believer that safety ranks first. I did do research, and there is a product called blackout shades that can block the light from the windows. Last night I drove by the parking lot where the carjacking took place in Lake Worth. I don't believe after seeing the lights that it will be a problem anymore. At least I pray not. I love the idea of the solar panels being installed at the old closed landfill. I have to honestly say that the outages have improved 100%. Thank you.
Thank you. Katie McGivern.
Hi, Katie McGivern, 2121 Collier Avenue. I have a handout for everybody. So anyway, that gives a little bit more accurate face on what has actually been put out in the press. One of my favorite quotes, there's absolutely no need for any community to invest in a sports team. And that's from University of South Florida sports economist Philip Porter. The data to support this statement is available in countless articles and some very boring books, but there's an overwhelming body of evidence. 2 of my favorite articles I've seen lately, one's from the Atlantic. It's called Spring Training Stadiums Are a Bad Investment, Yet Nobody Cares. And another great one is from, it's by Bloomberg Business. The Braves play taxpayers better than they play baseball. So, so the information, this is a chilling report. The information's out there, and I hope you avail yourselves of it. Another issue I have is that if I want my commissioner, or anyone in the city wants their commissioner to pull an item, if I ask my commissioner, Scott Maxwell, well, there's an issue on whatever the agenda, can you please pull it? I'm a little concerned. I think that should be a right of every commissioner because you represent all areas of the city. I don't think you should have to get permission from your fellow commissioners to pull an item, because then that disenfranchises a whole area of our city and citizens. So I would hope that any of our commissioners could pull an item without having to worry about, you know, consequences. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Moving on to the approval of the minutes.